What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Thursday morning. We're just 24 hours away from the Premier League starting up once again for the 2022-2023 season. We're a few extra days away from Manchester United's season starting, but nevertheless, there is plenty to get into this morning. Yes, there was a bit of a crazy day, Marcel. I don't know if you saw it. It was a bit of a crazy day, but today we've got to talk about Frankie de Jong. We've got to talk about my favorite person to say, which is Benjamin Sesko. I love saying that name. I love saying that name. Yeah, I'm very happy with that one. And I did see someone say as well what happened to the Ten Hag pronunciation. So you've got Erik Ten Hag and Benjamin Sesko. So I've been working. I've been putting in the work. I should be putting in the work on other more productive things. Instead, I'm sitting on my own in a room going Benjamin Sesko. But, you know, these are qualities we need.
It's good, though. Yeah. Especially the Ten Hag, you know.
Erik Ten Hag. We need all of that. We need all of that. So that's what we're bringing this morning. Going to talk a little bit about Cristiano Ronaldo, talk a bit about Alex Telles, as well as his loan deal gets completed. But Marcel, haven't seen you for a little bit. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Just, happy, Premier League football's back. Yeah, Premier League football's back. Happy. Just good morning to everyone. Good morning to the community. With a lot of things have been happening regarding our club recently, or speculation. It was a bit quiet, and then all of a sudden now it's starting to pick up again. So yeah, just happy.
Of course, it wouldn't be a morning show without Marcel and his happiness involved. It's also the first time we've spoken since Poison Gate. Fruitgate, I think it's actually known as.
I had to say sorry to you about that.
The fruit incident. I said that I got ill after the fruit, and I got some backlash, Marcel. People were saying it was nothing to do with the fruit. Owen, you're just so unhealthy.
Your palate, your palate. Yes,
you're just so unhealthy that basically I ate some fruit for like the first time, and I went into shock. Almost.
Yeah, I was just trying to be nice. But your palate, Owen. I can't lie. But next time, I'm going to bring nice Waitrose fruits. We're going to have a better selection. We need to do it properly. Already cut up for you, everything.
Yeah. That's the plan. That's the plan for next time. But let's get into the transfer news this morning and start talking about everyone's favorite topic, which is Frankie de Jong, of course. Now, yesterday, of course, it came out from David Ornstein that Chelsea are in talks with Barcelona for Frankie de Jong and are hoping to secure a deal. Basically, to get to the same stage that Manchester United are currently at, where they've agreed to deal with the club for the player. But when it comes to the player wanting to leave, that's a whole other topic. That's a whole other subject. And as David Ornstein said yesterday, it's a messy situation. Well, this morning, the Daily Mail have their own report out. Chris Wheeler and Tom Colomos has said that Chelsea are ready to hijack Manchester United's bid to sign Frankie de Jong in a £71 million deal from Barcelona. Sportsmail understands Chelsea are increasingly hopeful of winning the fight for de Jong, who is being swayed by the chance to play in the Champions League and live in the capital. However, The Athletic have pushed back with their own version of this, saying that senior Manchester United sources continue to reject claims that de Jong is not interested in moving to Old Trafford. They view the primary obstacle as financial rather than emotional. That comes from Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic. They're also saying that wages owed to the player and payments due to his agents, much rests on that judgment being correct. Daily Mail are also saying that both Manchester United and Chelsea are now prepared to pay Frankie de Jong's €20 million deferred salary on top of the transfer fee to Barcelona, which is a bit of old news, to be honest, Marcel, because Manchester United, when they agreed this deal with Barca, that little sort of bump in the transfer fee that went from sort of 65 to sort of 70, basically 75 million pounds, was essentially United going, you can give that to him.
Yeah,
let's get that done. But still, again, that hasn't fixed that issue. But Chelsea are willing to do the same. Actually, I'll start off with this before we get into the alternatives as well. Before we went live, Marcel was shockingly very positive. He was basically saying, and well, you said, Marcel, that you already consider de Jong a Manchester United player.
Yes,
which is expand on that.
So there's no other football club that he will go to other than Manchester United in my mind. I just don't think, Laporta, a couple of weeks ago, Laporta was telling us he's a Barcelona player, and now he's sitting down having cups of tea with Chelsea, the representatives of Chelsea, and he's already had a cup of tea with us. So I don't understand. It's the only stumbling block is Frankie de Jong, what he wants, and I can see potentially him coming, staying at Barcelona. But other than that, he's a Manchester United player in my mind. If they want to force him out the club, I've read that it's the 14th of August where Barcelona have to register their players by, I believe, which is 10 days from now. So we won't see him at the beginning of the season, but towards the end of the transfer window, I would like to see him in a Manchester United shirt. And for me, I feel as though he is a Manchester United player. I don't think, yes, Chelsea have the Champions League football. Yes, Chelsea, I think, they're London based, so they're going to be a more attractive prospect to foreign players in my mind, for sure, and to his missus. She's, going from Spain, nice weather, everything's nice, to Manchester is a bit of a drop down, I'll be honest. But in terms of where he goes...
How dare you?
I know. It's an opinion, but I know. But so in terms of where he goes, Owen, it's 100% Manchester United or nobody or nowhere else. In my mind, that's it. He wants to go back to his footballing father. I've said this for a long time, and I can't see him going anywhere else. It's just odds on he will be a Manchester United player.
I told you when you said this off the air that I don't like this level of jinx. I don't like this confidence.
It's what I do.
I mean,
what I do.
I've gone back and forth on this De Jong thing a lot, right? I really have. And as Palmyra says, strong words. We're here, strong words. Very, very. Marcel's coming out hot this morning, okay? It's not just outside, it's hot, it's Marcel.
Good morning.
Exactly. I am nervous about this De Jong situation. I can't lie. We spoke yesterday about it, that I do question. Chelsea have been lurking. They've been lurking around this De Jong deal the whole time that we have been negotiating with Barcelona. And the point that really sticks in my head at the moment is why now have they decided to really start ramping up the negotiations with Barcelona? What have they heard? What feelers have they got from De Jong's camp, De Jong's agents, from Barcelona? What have they been told that's made them go, right now? Now's the time to really start ramping it up. They must have heard something. And again, that's pure speculation on my part. But they've also seen just the saga that Manchester United have been involved in this negotiation process for Frankie de Jong. Why would they want to get involved in that? Why would they go, yeah, we'll dip our toe into that? Unless they have been told that he would be interested. He would be open to moving. And what the crux of it, the major crux of it have always been the salary stuff. And that still hasn't got resolved yet. And the push comes to shove, it will eventually. When it comes to the time they have to start registering players, that's when that will get resolved. But then it comes down to, we have heard he wants to play Champions League football, which Chelsea can offer him. We've also, like you said, heard that parts of his family not too keen about moving to Manchester. London's a more attractive prospect. If all of the salary stuff does get decided and does get resolved, and he goes, you know what, Barca was my dream club, but yep, and finally I've come to terms with it. I'm open to leaving Barcelona. Then it becomes Erik ten Hag and Manchester versus London and Champions League football. And that's a heck of a fight for us to win. That will test the strength of Erik ten Hag's supposed relationship with Frankie de Jong. You've said his football father. Do we know that to be even completely accurate? Yeah, he's got a relationship with him in the past because he, mentored him at Ajax. But still, this is football at the end of the day. This is business. There's no room for sentiment. I love Erik ten Hag, but I don't love Manchester, and I don't love playing in Europa League. I love playing in London and playing in Champions League. That could become part of it as well. And that's not me playing devil's advocate. It's not me being negative. That's me going, this is
a possibility.
A possibility, yeah.
Very real. No, I understand that. I 100% agree with what you're saying. For me, the way I'm seeing the exact same situation, firstly, in terms of the Chelsea situation, or this is just a sign that Frankie de Jong's available. A lot of people deliberating before that he's not available, that he wants to stay, and that Laporta's, he is available. Barcelona want him gone. So he will, I believe, be going. However this puzzle sorted out, I really do think he will be going. It would be really peculiar if he ends up staying, to be honest with you. I don't know how that dynamic works out. He's been forced out into centre back, it's very peculiar if he stays. So if there is a club that he ends up going to, solely on the strength of Ten Hag, I believe that he will be a Manchester United player for me. That's just what I believe, and I will continually stand by that. I genuinely believe Ten Hag gets his man. there's no other football club that he wants to play for anyway. We know this. We know that he doesn't want to play for any other football club than Barcelona.
Do we know
Yes.
that?
Yes. 100%
than Barcelona. I thought you meant the only other club he'd want to play for is Manchester United.
No,
Barcelona.
The only club he wants to play for is Barcelona.
Yes, that's true.
But then if there's a second option, it's going to be maybe where you're most comfortable, where you're going to be able to express yourself most, where you're most familiar. That's not going to be Ajax. It's going to be the football father in Ten Hag. And I genuinely believe that's where it's going to be. I don't think he'll be going to Chelsea Football Club. And I'll be extremely shocked. I don't think they can even facilitate him at the moment. They don't really need him in that midfield area. Chelsea
are doing a madness in this transfer window. I don't subscribe to the theory that there's been this weird thing online that Chelsea haven't had a good window because Koundé turned him down for Barca and Rafinha turned him down for Barca. They still signed Raheem Sterling, which is an excellent signing. Koulibaly, which even at his age, again,
if they get for
the transfer fee, they've been linked to Fofana, which would be a great signing. It looks like, the Cucurella stuff last night was madness. Fabrizio said, "Here we go, Cucurella to Chelsea," and then Brighton came out and went, "Not true." So I don't know what's going on there, but you would think chances are he's still going to go there. So just those 3 signings alone, you would say Sterling, Koulibaly, Cucurella, not bad. Now they're being linked to Aubameyang as well, which is an odd one. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That is strange, and that actually makes me feel a little bit more confident about Benjamin Sesko, because previously I would have said, well, Sesko makes sense going to Chelsea because they really need a number 9. They haven't got one basically now. And Sesko might have been the answer to that. But now they're looking at Aubameyang. That'll be quite interesting. But also, again, if you're going to look at the De Jong situation, if they're actively talking to Barcelona about Aubameyang, then it's just a bit of a sideways step to go, oh, and also this De Jong thing, what's going on there as well? So I am worried about it because let's face it, Marcel, and I know you're very confident he'll come to Manchester United, but let's say that he doesn't. He doesn't. If he stays at Barca, it's an L that United have to take, because you would say, look, you pursued this even before the window even opened in like May. You were going after him. And, and at the time, the feeling that was he wasn't going to leave, and then he stays. That's embarrassing. You should have spent your time on other things. We missed out on other targets because we were so focused on him. That would be embarrassing. It's another level of embarrassment, isn't it? That if he does leave and he does go to the Premier League, but he doesn't go to Manchester United.
That would be the worst scenario possible. And like you said, it is possible. I just don't see it happening. But Chelsea are going in there because they know and they understand, contrary to what Laporte was trying to make everyone believe, that he wasn't available and that he's staying at the club. So that kind of side of thing, that's why I feel like they're entering the market for him. And they need, I don't know, they've been entering in the market for plenty of players. For me, the focus is getting the business side of things done, whether it's the wages. How do we sort out this wage issue? Are we going to pay for the wages? I've been hearing that's been sorted. We have the number 21 shirt for him. There's so many things in there that I think is good enough right now. He's been speaking to Frankie consistently, is what at the beginning stage is what we're told. So I understand people's frustration in terms of, because we all spoke about this. We all sat down in a full view and we said, when's your timeline? When do you think this should be done by? So I agree with every single person that, this has gone past everyone's timeline. If you remember back to that, some of us saying, listen, halfway through, I was at a point where I was like, I don't even mind if it takes halfway through the window, the tour, sorry. He misses 2 or 3 games, but at least he's there towards the last one. It hasn't happened. So even me and myself, I'm a bit, this is taking a bit long now. And I can agree with those that are frustrated about that. But to say that another club will come in and get the priority after we've done this much work on it, Owen, I just don't see it happening. I genuinely don't see that happening. So I can understand the frustration that it's taken this long. We've missed other targets, quote unquote, but they're not our targets. It's not meant for you. So it's not a miss for me. If it's not meant for me and my manager doesn't want it, it's not a miss. It has nothing to do with my football club. So I don't know. I'm right now, I'm a bit worried that it's taken so long, but I believe it comes before the window closes. And that's most paramount. We have how many games throughout the season? And yes, it might take him the first few, it might take him a bit of time, but there's points to be won and he needs to be part of that system and that team. So I'm looking forward to him coming, hopefully before the close.
Oh man, the jinx is strong. I don't blame, and this goes back to the salary issue. I don't blame De Jong for dragging his heels about this. I don't blame him for forcing it right until the very point they have to register players. And Barca are like, okay, fine, we have to give you the money. We have to do whatever. Because that's what they're going to have to do. They can activate as many levers as they want. That doesn't affect their salary cap, because I think that's based on last season. It's based on their profits and loss from last season. So it still is an issue for them to register players. Those levers that they've activated is cash to buy players now or pay off some existing debts. So the De Jong situation, from his point of view, I would think, is still, well, we'll push it till the end. We'll get our money, and then maybe we can figure that out. But I don't know, Marcel. I think I have to. Have I still got the clip? I think I still do have the clip.
Unfortunately, I don't agree with you
about the part where, if he was to leave Barca, he'd only be coming to United. I think that Chelsea offer is attractive. Champions League, location, and the business they've done as well this summer. Because if they sign, when they sign Cucurella and they've signed Sterling, they've signed Koulibaly, if they sign Aubameyang, not that I think Aubameyang is the most amazing signing, because I don't think that is, but there does appear to be some form of momentum with Chelsea, doesn't there? And you could argue that there doesn't feel to be some form of momentum at Manchester United. Manchester United is a project right at the beginning, and there's a rebuild, and going into that team, that project, you'd be like, it's going to be a difficult season ahead. It's going to be a bit of a struggle at times. So, like you said, it does. It depends how strong that relationship is with Erik ten Hag and Frankie de Jong. And ultimately, we don't know how strong that is. The impression is that it's strong. I saw something from The Athletic, was it last week or the week prior, going, they appreciate each other and respect each other, but let's make no mistake, it's not father and son. Again, it was business at the end of the day.
It is. You're right. You're 100% right. But even on the way that you explain the project, I feel like there is a project happening at Manchester United.
There is, but I'm saying that the project between Man United and Chelsea are way different stages.
Yes, we are. I can admit that. But where we're looking to go, I think we'll be beyond Chelsea at some stage anyway. So, and he knows the system. He knows the
big
system.
Statements. You've come out firing this morning, Marcel.
He knows the system, though. He knows how Ten Hag wants to play. It's gonna be wonderful when he comes and he's part of the side. So, I'm looking forward. I'm excited. We wasn't hearing anything about this. Now we're hearing something. Now we're hearing another club. Now we're hearing wages are going to be potentially be paid for or not paid for. The 14th of August is coming closer now. So things, people will start moving now. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, Ten Hag wants him, but does De Jong want Ten Hag?
I think so. And if he doesn't, then we move on and we look for another option. And there's egg on my face and everyone's saying, "Oh, you was wrong," and I don't mind that. But I genuinely believe that he will be there, and I want to hear what everyone has to say when he joins. I want to know.
Fabrizio Romano has also said this morning that Manchester United are not happy with the Frankie de Jong situation. They have been working on the deal for a long time, but still do not have the green light from de Jong. Erik ten Hag and the board are doing their best. What do you say to that?
We have to move on if we don't, and I believe that the club has been looking at other options. I've said this before. It's taken long. I understand everyone that feels that we are moving like a small club. We have taken too long in this deal, and it's getting ridiculous. They're well within their rights. I'm not saying anyone shouldn't be relaxed. Porridge is finished. The porridge is finished now. I'm definitely in that camp. It's taken too long. My deadline's gone past mine. So I 100% agree with those that are annoyed at the situation, and I respect them for that. All the Man United fans that would believe contrary to me that we should be going for player A, B, and C. But at the end of the day, my manager wants this player. The first thing that I'm doing this season is backing the manager wholeheartedly, even with situations to do with other players. Yeah. So I believe that this deal will get done before the end of the window, and let's see what happens.
Well, if de Jong does not happen, we have spoken about alternatives in the past. And again, going back to this Daily Mail article from Chris Wheeler and Tom Colomos, they've said that United have a list of de Jong alternatives, which does include Ruben Neves, but Wolves are increasingly confident of keeping him. He looked set to leave this summer, and Wolves wanted around £70 million. But while a late offer could change the landscape, Neves is now set to open talks over a new contract. So to look at that, Marcel, I can see you frowning. To look at that one, there are alternatives, but could we be looking at a situation? Picture this. we're talking about hours this morning. Could we be looking at a situation where we miss out on Frankie de Jong because either he stays at Barca or he goes to Chelsea, and the backup option we have, the alternative we have, we miss out on because we took too long going out after de Jong that he signs a new deal with Wolves? What would happen then?
Panic stations potentially. I've even read stuff about potentially us getting Renato Sanchez, but that exact predicament that you're talking about has already happened for him. He's gone to PSG. Yeah. So that kind of situation has already happened for us. Like I was reading that he could have been in the second option or the third option if we don't get Frankie de Jong, but that's already transpired for us. We've missed out on it. So for Ruben Neves, or regarding Ruben Neves now, that could potentially be the same thing. You just said 70 million. Wow,
that was good. That was going to be the thing I was going to say. That if they're quoting 70 million, then sign a new contract, mate. That is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. So for me, there's footballers all over the world, and that's what. And it's kind of funny that I'm saying that. There's plenty of options and there's plenty of footballers. So a lot of people are saying to me, "Well, what about Frankie de Jong then? There's plenty of footballers. Why don't we just go get another footballer?" I'm only having this stance because I feel as though the manager is adamant that this is the player that's required at the club. So that's the only reason why I'm so strong on this stance. I genuinely agree with you that there's plenty of other footballers that we could have got that would have been able to play the way that, or play within the system that would have been satisfied by the manager. But unfortunately, he wants this player, and he's been adamant on this. We wouldn't be negotiating for so long if that wasn't the case. So if we miss out on other targets, there will be other targets, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I do agree with you. I think that United clearly would have pulled the plug on this deal a long time ago if they'd have got their own way. I would think it's very much manager driven at this stage as to know we keep going. We'll keep going after him. We did the interview with Sky, didn't he, yesterday? And it came out and he said it's not about signing players. It's about signing the right players.
Yeah.
And you can see in pre-season how Erik ten Hag wants to play. Fred's currently playing in that 6th role, and he can't be the long-term option, but that's the option we have right now. But you can see exactly where Erik ten Hag wants Frankie de Jong to play. He wants him to be that 6. And clearly, like you say, that's the priority for him. Sign Frankie de Jong. And almost to the extent of, well, boss, we can't get Frankie. He's either going to stay at Barca or he's going to go to Chelsea. We'll figure that out when that happens. Once we get confirmation he's staying at Barca or he's going to Chelsea, then we'll move on. But until then, until the race is over, we're still in the race, basically, and we'll keep going for it. You can see that. You can almost see him driving that, can't you?
That's how people should be in their lives. You should be attacking plan A with all your heart, and then if it's not going to happen, plan B. That's how you should be in your lives, guys. So
to the point that when you know plan A is not going to happen, though?
Pardon? What? Say that again, please.
To the point, though, when you know that plan A is not going to happen.
Well, yes, but we don't know plan A is not going to happen, people. Frankie de Jong's still in the books. It's still a possibility, even though there's other possibilities like you've mentioned today, Owen, but that possibility is still there. And I'm still rooting for that. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. My preference would have been to move on. It would have been to move on. I can't lie. Ruben Neves is a fantastic player. Had a fantastic performance at Old Trafford against us, and away against us as well. So he's a great player. Ibrahim Sangare would have been more of the profile for me in terms of a physical destroyer type, more of a Premier League kind of player, physical, tall, very aggressive. But it is Frankie de Jong, and I believe that it will be Frankie de Jong.
Although I would say Wolves can put a £70 million asking price on Ruben Neves. I think if say de Jong didn't happen and we went for Ruben Neves, I think we could buy him for less, put it that way. I think you could put a 55 million pound offer in, and I think Wolves would accept it because I think the player would force that move through because he would want to come. And that's the difference we're dealing with. We're looking at a player that maybe doesn't want to come versus a player that does want to come. Yeah. So that could be a whole different strand to this transfer window that hasn't even started yet. And
even the Tielemans.
Tielemans.
We could steal on Tielemans. So I don't know where Arsenal.
What is going on with Leicester, by the way, as well? Have they bought? I don't think they've bought anyone in this transfer window. And they're coming into the first game of the season. They just lost Kasper Schmeichel to Nice, which is a strange one. Yeah. Maddison could be going to Newcastle. He's talking about Fofana, Tielemans. That's wild, isn't it?
West Ham are going to take that, solidify that. The 7th spot now. They've gone very well into the market, and Leicester's just not been the same Leicester that we've seen anymore. It's a bit, and they used to do fantastic business and get very.
Well, there you go. Chelsea, it literally just popped up that Chelsea have just submitted a £60 million bid for Fofana. Fabrizio Romano just confirmed it in the last few minutes.
Yeah, see, so So there's players like Tielemans that we could potentially miss as a option B or C, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. I think the important date, I believe, is the 14th. That's when I believe Barcelona have to register players. So that's an important date for us to look at. But we've got to focus on our functional midfield, or somewhat functional. It's not that functional, but it's Ten Hag has definitely upgraded or improved those players that are there to work to make them understand a certain way of playing. So, like he said, if we can't get players the quality of player, like you mentioned, the right player, there's players there that can learn. And Zidane Iqbal is definitely one that I'll be looking to develop and cultivate his game and be ready for the sixth position.
Finally, before we wrap it up on De Jong, do you see a situation where the transfer window closes and we haven't signed A6? Even if it's not De Jong, do you see a situation where we haven't signed A6?
No, it's possible again, like we were saying, but no way. That was last season's problem, and maybe the season before that was last season's problem. And we had how many manager changes throughout last season? 3. And that was last season's problem. And I feel like we're going to end up starting the campaign against Brighton with the same midfield that the last 4 managers have selected. And we haven't achieved anything great with this midfield right now. So it is a huge alarm bells if we don't get a 6 in. That would be a massive problem.
We've got over 1,300 people watching, less than 200 likes. Last night, Marcel, it was a madness. We got to 1,000 likes live. It was a madness, yeah. So I'm not saying we can do well. Look, I always say, look, if everyone smashed a like now, it'd be nearly 1,300 likes. I mean, I know that's maybe not possible, but still, we can do better.
That's a new record. That would be a new record right there.
Yeah, let's get to 500 now. Why not? Why can't we do it right now? Why can't we?
The target, Owen.
Yeah, 750 is the new target. It's true. Target, yeah. So let's see if we can get to 500 now. If we get to 500 now, we still got over half an hour left. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. So click a like on the like. Possibilities. Exactly. Nothing's impossible, guys. You can do it. You can do it. So smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe button right-hand corner. If you wish to join the UV Members Club, you can do so by clicking the link in the video description and or clicking the link in the pinned comment in the live chat. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Let's go to a couple of super chats. Game Fanatic says, is it time to coin Fredrickson, midfield 2? I like Fredrickson or Frerickson. You were saying, Marcel, that you think the same midfield's going to start on Sunday. Do you not think that could be Fred and Eriksson instead of Fred and McTominay?
I don't think he has the legs at the moment, the conditioning at the moment, especially within
2 games back to back.
Yeah, but not full. The first one wasn't a full 90, I don't believe.
Neither were. It was together a 490, wasn't it? I think both sort of added up to about 490.
I just don't think he maybe is Premier League ready for how we want to play. He hasn't done all the running, the conditioning that Ten Hag most probably wants for the first couple of weeks or month of the preseason. So I don't think he'll start straight away. I think he comes off the bench. I think he's a come off the bench player anyway for us, potentially for the first few games anyway.
Really? Did you not say though, like, look, play 60 minutes, 5 subs, remember, as well?
Yeah, it's true. But that's why I would say he comes on and builds his fitness that way, because I'm just looking at it the complete opposite way, in the sense that, because there's 5 subs, he maybe comes on, gets the minutes and builds his way through that way. And instead of the other way where you're just not match pace fit already and you're playing, it might detriment the team and the system. So I think he will build up minutes, and then throughout the season he'll start starting games for us.
I hope he starts. I think we'll need him, or we'll just need him in general. Shahil Patel says, hi guys, just a question. How many more signings are we going to get? Because in my opinion, we won't sign anyone else. How many do you guys think we'll get? Marcel, you've had your number from the start, so I'll go to you.
Shahil, I said 5. I think we've got 3 already, but I want to go to 6 now. I want to go to 6, but definitely 2 more. I genuinely believe there'll be 2 more, Shahil, and that's 100%. We know that we need reinforcements. Just look at the midfield. Look at the right back situation. Look at the forward line. They will go for 2 more.
Who will those 2 be?
Sesko is a good shout. I feel like we definitely need a forward line player anyway. So that would be 1. And then that 6 has to be something that we have to look at. The outgoings right now seem like we're going to get a couple outgoings in the back line, whether it's Phil Jones, whether it's Eric Bailly for whatever reason, which is going to be a huge miss. But, with those 2 outgoings, that might even be able to get you a sixth player, and I think I'll be correct. Everyone was saying below 5, and I was saying 5, potentially 6. So,
you know what? Actually, I tend to agree with you. I do think that we'll get. I mean, it's the opposite of the clip. Unfortunately, I agree with you. I think we will get a 6. I don't know it's going to be Frankie De Jong, but I do think we'll get a 6. Like you, I do think we'll get a striker or someone across the forward line because we need to. We were just so light there, and I think we will. And I wouldn't rule out a right back either because obviously Ethan Laird's going out on loan. Wan-Bissaka, if Wan-Bissaka goes, we need another right back because we've only got one at that point. Yeah. So I'm with you. I do think we'll get more signings. I know it's not the ideal timing, but there is still, what is it, just under a month to go until the window closes. So I'm sharing in that positivity. It's not all negative this morning. Genome says, I want to assume if we're still driving for him, Ten Hag has assurances from Frankie De Jong. Hopefully alternatives are lined up or buy in winter. That's an interesting point at the end there, actually. If we don't get Frankie De Jong because he goes elsewhere, because he stays or anything like that, and we're caught a little bit cold towards the end of the window, could we see a situation where we say to Fred, look, just do it till January, and then January we will get a 6? Or how silly would that appear because yet another window passed and we haven't signed a 6?
So you're right. It will appear silly for us, I believe, for sure, that we haven't executed a clear issue for us, for our team. I think Frankie De Jong only comes to Man United in this window. I've said it's a unique opportunity for now. So I've said that before. I don't think we get him in the winter. He might go to better options or a different option in the winter. And if he stays, or he might just, they might accept him, or, he might play through the bad spell that he's in right now in terms of the relation with the club at Barcelona, and he stays. But I don't think we can wait till winter. This needs to be done now. And I think, Manchester United are ready to execute if they do see there's no more possibility of him coming to Manchester United. I think we will get that 6 if, and Garner's he showed good habits in the last friendly that we watched anyway. So there's a player there that kind of does fit the mold I would like to see get an opportunity. Yes, we need to upgrade on him. And yes, we need to upgrade in that 6th position, hands down. But I think we can't wait till winter. We can't.
Let's talk about Manchester United's striker search, and my favourite name to say, of course, that being one, Benjamin Sesko, because Manchester United are leading the race for Benjamin Sesko since more than the last week, according to Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United are really pushing for Sesko, but still not agreed on the player and Salzburg side. So it's an open race. Chelsea have also had a meeting too. It's a 3-club race. We don't know who the 3rd club is. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, the Daily Mail is also saying that Manchester United have spoken to Red Bull Salzburg regarding Benjamin Sesko. However, United remain reluctant to hit the £55 million asking price. Laurie Whitwell, though, from The Athletic is saying that even if Manchester United can agree terms, sources do not believe Sesko could be relied upon to produce immediately in the Premier League, which was kind of Flex's point yesterday, actually. He said he's 19. We don't know if he's going to come in and be bang that player. But you could also argue that's why you have Ronaldo and Martial as the alternatives there. Laurie Whitwell also said that Manchester United are searching for strikers, and football director John Murtough met the agent of Benjamin Sesko last Wednesday. More talks are planned over Sesko, but United face competition from Chelsea, and that 3rd club could possibly be Liverpool. So, Sesko, how are you feeling on that deal? Do you think that one's a possibility? And to Flex's point, and I guess to the club's point, can he be relied on straight away if we were to sign him?
No, he can't be. You need absolute quality when you're going to replace Cristiano Ronaldo. 20 guaranteed goals this season. We've seen what Martial can do. I don't think he's consistent enough, which is already an issue. And then you're going to bring a younger player that's maybe not consistent enough. And there's an unknown entity, really. We've got a few strikers that are going to become an unknown entity this season. In Haaland and the Liverpool guy. So there's a few. Yeah, Nunes. There's a few. So we don't know what's going to happen throughout the season. But if this is a player that the manager wants, this type of profile of player, this kind of target man-esque player that can still be mobile. We was talking about Skamaka at one point throughout the window. These kind of players, and he's coming into the league as well with West Ham. So, it will be good to see him. But that drop off from those 4 strikers that we currently have, one that doesn't want to be at the club, It's so massive in terms of young players, and Sesko will be another one that's going to be a young player. Does he have the quality? It remains to be seen. I've only seen compilations. I don't want to say that I've seen everything of him and that he's a fantastic player and elaborate how great he is. I've just seen compilations, and he reminds me of the mold of a target man mover. Very fluid footballer.
Which
And
is
that would be something.
which is what Ten Hag kind of wants, is it not?
Yes.
Because that's how he has played in the past, with
Yes.
that taller, maybe lesser mobile striker to be that sort of focal point for his wingers to play off of. So you can see why United would be interested and why Ten Hag would give him the nod. The £55 million thing, I do kind of raise my eyebrow. I do people's eyebrow a little bit and say that's a lot. But to the point where they're saying, well, the sources at Old Trafford don't think he could be relied upon to be United's main guy straight away. But if you're keeping Ronaldo, and we're going to touch on Ronaldo in a second, it looks like he is going to stay, and you've got Martial, what are we saying? We're saying that we need options up front. That is options up front. It's a long season, 5 subs. I mean, look at the bench. We saw it several times in pre-season. We had several benches where we didn't have a striker on the bench. Now, granted, Ronaldo wasn't there, but if something happens to Ronaldo, he could get injured. Got injured a couple of times last season. Martial, he was injured quite a few times before he went on loan to Sevilla. He was injured at Sevilla. There is going to be situations and scenarios where both Ronaldo and Martial, or possibly both at the same time, will be injured. We need strength in depth. So I don't think if Sesko came, he would be this starter immediately, but I would say it's not necessarily the worst signing in the world. Granted, like Q, I don't know a ton about the player, so I don't know if that 55 million is really properly worth it in terms of value for money. But we do need options up front, and this was the point I made yesterday, Marcel. Again, it looks like Ronaldo is going to stay, but what would you say to a situation? Say we sign Sesko for 55 million, and we get Memphis Depay on a free. What would you say to that?
It's very good now. I mean, that would be how many? 6? That would be your 6. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that would be your 6.
Would be options.
Now. That would be options. I've always said, though, we need an upgrade on these players. You want an upgrade on Sancho. You want an upgrade on Martial. You want an upgrade on Rashford. They look very fluid right now, but you want to see if you can add a player that can add more than what they're offering. I'm not saying that you want to replace them right now. I'm just saying you want competition for places. I always refer back to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Dwight York, Andy Cole, and Teddy Sheringham as your options for 2 places on the pitch. That's what you want. So right now we've got 3. If Ronaldo's staying, like you're saying, you've got 4. Whoever's on form starts. And then if you add Memphis Depay to that system and Sesko, a younger forward that fits more of the profile in that target man area, does it a little bit differently to Martial in terms of link up as well, then you've got options, like you said, and that's what you want at the club. And there's future in that. Some of them, Rashford's still got a bit of potential that we're hoping. He's got 1 or 2 seasons with us to prove himself. Same with Martial, and they're a bit more mature now. Martial's game looks a bit more mature. Sancho's looking sharp, Sesko, if he's good enough, he's gonna be, he can learn off Ronaldo if we're keeping him, and that's the stance that Man United should be having. Is to I don't like the theatrics and the saga with him. Hopefully, we can touch on that, but there's competition for places, and you're 100% right.
Yeah, and with the Depay thing, it must be stressed that I don't think we've actually been properly linked with him. Of course, it was reported a couple of days ago by Romano that Depay's negotiating an exit from his contract, so he will at some point be a free agent. And I'm not the biggest Depay fan. I'm really not. But I did see in the last 2 games of pre-season that if Sancho gets injured or he's ill, we have no one. We have no one, particularly on that right-hand side. You could say Alanga played on the right-hand side. I think he had a questionable pre-season. I mean, there is question marks on his ability this year. Jong, clearly, I don't know if he'll ever be that guy, but he's just definitely not now. And we're light there. And I would never be an advocate for paying money, like a transfer fee for Memphis Depay, because I think we've gotten there. I'm not massively keen on revisiting it, but free transfer, the risk is a bit lower, and ultimately we just need bodies in those positions. So I wouldn't be against that. Sesko, I mean, clearly at this point, I know Salzburg wanted to keep him for another season. It looks very unlikely that he's going to stay at Salzburg. Again, in every transfer window, these players come up, and I always say there is clearly a pool of players that are going to move. And Sesko seemingly is in this pool of players. He's going to get a move somewhere in the next couple of weeks. It's just a case of whether it's going to be United, is it going to be Chelsea? And Chelsea are looking at Aubameyang now, so maybe that does reduce it slightly. They've still got Brozier up front too. That doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere. So I don't know. Liverpool, do they really need another striker up front? They've got a lot of options there. So as Romano was saying, that United are seemingly leading the race for this one, but it's going to be a point of, I suppose, Marcel, how desperate do they get? Are they going to get pushed and shoved into spending that 55 million?
Is it a good thing? I don't think we've spent. Richard Arnold mentioned around 250 million available. I don't think we've even spent half of it yet. So again, back to Sahil's point, I think that we will see we'll have more movement in the market. We haven't spent the money that was even said to be available right now. So I do think there'll be more movement in the market. Will you overpay? I feel like that's too much for a 19-year-old that hasn't really proved much. I mean, how much did we pay for Anthony Martial when he first came in? Around 50 though. Different time. At a different time.
Same age.
Yeah, same age. Different time, in terms of the world and the market. Big signings hadn't come into play back then. But I don't know. I just don't. 55 sounds too much. It just sounds too much, Owen.
Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. We mentioned that we were going to bring him up. Now, Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic is saying this morning that Cristiano Ronaldo's exit appears increasingly unlikely. Sources regarded Ronaldo's full participation in Manchester United's Premier League Media Day at Carrington on Tuesday as notable, and the pool of potential buyers has shrunk considerably. So again, it looks like, as of right now, that Ronaldo is not going to be going anywhere. It's also been reported by Laurie Whitwell that United have insisted all along that Ronaldo is not for sale, with Joel Glazer also getting involved in discussions. And to be fair, now you kind of see it from when the Glazers are getting involved, that's when you go, well, it's money then. They don't want to sell Ronaldo because, well, one, Ten Hag wants to keep him, all that kind of stuff. But the crux of it is they saw how much money Cristiano Ronaldo made for them last season. They saw when they signed him, what happened to the stock price. It went like that. And they sold a load of stock and they made a load of money. They made a shit ton of money off selling shirts when he came in last season. And they went, we'll have that. We'll have that for another season. We don't care how rubbish we are or anything like that. We don't care what Ronaldo wants. Played into their hands nicely, it must be said, because no one wants Ronaldo. There are no clubs, there are no offers on the table. But once you hear that the Glazers have got involved, you go, well, then it's a financial decision as well. Laurie Whitwell was also saying that though it's understood, some at the club voiced an alternative opinion as Cristiano Ronaldo stayed away from the preseason tour. The prospect is high of Ten Hag needing to figure out a way to incorporate him into his side this season. How does Ten Hag incorporate Ronaldo into his system, into his style of play, Marcel?
I don't know. The first preseason game at Old Trafford, packed. Every time you're walking around there, you're seeing number 7 Ronaldo. So that just goes to speaks volumes as well for the Glazers. But I don't know, the performance in terms of leading the line. I just don't enjoy the way he's doing it at the moment. He was coming deep a lot, through last season, and he's doing it a lot again now. He's got unbelievable quality. So we was talking about how Donny was going missing, but he wasn't. Ronaldo was finding Donny a lot. So, for high quality moves and high quality players, you're going to get found if Ronaldo's on the ball when you're doing the right things. I just don't know how he consistently fits into the side, but he's got goals in him. I feel like he's his own entity. Like he will be able to take care of what he needs to take care of. If that's scoring goals, which is what Ten Hag said that he knows he will bring. So I think he will score goals. I just don't know how he balances the team well. I don't know if he's a team player right now, if he's going to be a benefit for the team. And I've always said I don't see no future in Ronaldo. You can't build with Ronaldo. So that's also a very, very difficult situation to deal with. But this saga, the theatricals, the behavior, it's not beneficial for the side in any way, shape, or form. I don't care who you are as a player. You stay with the team. It doesn't matter until the end of the game. You stay with the team and then you go home. So
and make the mistake, that's not going to change. Like between now and the transfer window closing, that is not changing. Cristiano Ronaldo will be on the bench against Brighton at the weekend because Martial will start. And for a fact, the very minimum, at least like 5 times in the first couple of minutes, what will you see? You will get images of Ronaldo on the bench. You'll get images of Ronaldo warming up as a substitute. Every time he warms up on the sideline, the camera will be on. And again, that's because he's Cristiano Ronaldo. That's what happens. And we've just got to, and Erik ten Hag has just kind of got to deal with that until the end of the window.
It's beautiful learning experience for him as a manager. You know, he's still, I say he's the 5th best manager in the league, but he's still on a learning curve. You know, he's the best young manager in the world, or coming, you know, he's an up and coming manager. This is a great learning curve for him. This would be good for him to learn how to deal with these kind of massive superstars. You know, I've seen other managers like Tuchel not be able to handle that, you know, in PSG and things like that. So this would be good for him to learn and understand and deal with the player. But the player has to buckle down now and get on with it. It doesn't matter whether you're on the bench or not.
Can we not look at it this way, though, with Ronaldo, right? This is a player that, of course, huge ego, right? And a huge ego and thinking about the South. You know, he's a team player to an extent, but it's about Ronaldo. You know, he's an individual in the team sport. And it no way it hasn't hurt Cristiano Ronaldo, the fact that he offered himself out to all of these clubs and they all said no this summer so far. Could we not look at it as a situation of once the window closes and he is still a Manchester United player, which again, it looks likely that will be the case, that he doesn't take it upon himself and goes, you know what? Okay, come the end of this season, I know they've got an option for an extra year, but come the end of the season, I can be a free agent. I am going to absolutely smash it this season at Manchester United in a shit Manchester United side. And I still plan on leaving at the end of the season. But come the end of the season, I'm making sure there'll be options for me because I'll give them no choice because I'm so good again this season. Could he not do that?
Yeah, so I've already said previously on previous, you know, we've had plenty morning shows, and I've said to you, he once it's 100% solidified and there's no other possibility of him leaving, he's a professional. He will knuckle down and perform for us. There's no, for himself. You know,
some people will push back though with that, with the professional, because I said professional, but then also does a professional leave at half time?
Yeah, no, but it's pre-season. You know, like for me, I believe that once that season knuckles down and he's in the season flow, he's got a World Cup to perform in. Like you said, he's got his own ambitions to leave, to go to we might even qualify for the Champions League. It'll be really interesting to see what happens then. But you know, there's so many other things that will come into play, and I think once that league kind of that's flowing right now, he has an opportunity to maybe win the Europa League, which I'm pretty sure Messi hasn't done. You know,
but I don't think he cares, Marcel. In fairness, I don't think he's going to be lifting the Europa League and be like, "See, Messi got that. Forget your Champions League record. Who scored the most Europa League goals?" I don't think that's the record.
I know, but it's something. It's something. You know what I mean? It's a trophy. So, and if he does stay, he will be. I'm pretty sure we'll be utilizing him in the final or to get to this final. So, I think once that season kicks off, he will be a Manchester United player and looking to play the best football that he can for the club and for himself. And I 100% believe that he's a professional that will do that. But the dramas when he gets subbed off, like you said, the cameras every 2 seconds. This is going to be something that the manager has to deal with. This is something that Ronaldo's been dealing with. It's going to annoy me a lot. And I can't wait for him to leave because of that kind of behavior. But if he's going to knuckle down on the pitch, perform the best that he can, we will still get that kind of, 20-goal season Ronaldo.
Super chat here from Shalil Patel says, I am only saying no signings is because how slow we move, but make no mistake, I would like more just to burn the past. CR7 needs to leave, no more fuss. So Shalil, not a Ronaldo fan. And some people saying they still think Ronaldo is going to leave. I have said before, look, if Ronaldo gets an offer, which he has not got an offer yet, but if Ronaldo gets an offer, things could change. Ronaldo is playing nice at the moment. If an offer actually comes on the table, because remember, United don't want to sell. And it's very easy for United to say we don't want to sell when there are no offers. If Atleti move some things around, if Napoli manage to find a way to do it, and an offer is on the table for Ronaldo to move, then maybe he won't play as nice, and maybe United might have a decision to make then. But that's not the situation at the moment.
So again, I'm backing my manager, and my manager's been saying in the media that he wants to work with Ronaldo. My preference is to have Ronaldo gone. That's my preference. But my manager wants him to be part of this side. So I want him to be one of the 4 elite strikers that we have at the moment, or not elite strikers, but first team strikers that we have. Because there's a massive drop off when you look at the younger players. They're not ready to step in that we can rely on. Ronaldo is somebody we can rely on at this club. So if the manager wants to work with him, until the manager says, listen, I don't want him, he's going to have to manage these issues. But no player's bigger than this club for me. So the more this drags on, it's going to annoy fans and maybe myself for sure. So I don't know. The manager wants him in the club. He has to stay and work within the club. You signed a 2-year contract. Adhere to your contract. Nobody else is going to pay you this money.
We've still got over 1,300 people watching. We are less than 100 likes away from 500, Marcel. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this right now. If you haven't already, smash a like on the like button. We're on 425. So that's 75 to go. 75. That was quick maths. It's not bad for me at nearly 10 o'clock in the morning. 75 to go till 500. We can do that live. And then if we get to 500, anything's possible towards the end. Let's move on from Ronaldo and talk about Hakim Ziyech. Now, there were some reports last night coming from France, I believe it was, saying that Hakim Ziyech is a priority for Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. But Ziyech is not unanimous within the club, so the transfer is currently being blocked. It was then reported by Santi Auna, an outlet, a journalist based in Spain, saying the news about Hakim Ziyech is now being a priority target for Manchester United is true. Take it with a pinch of salt, clearly, but there have been those rumblings throughout the summer, haven't there, that he could be available for as little as 8 million, something like that. Obviously, Ten Hag worked with the player Ajax. That's how he got his big move to Chelsea in the first place. What do you think about Ziyech, and could he be an option that United take? I mean, 8 million? You're shaking your head.
8 million. Well, I've only ever seen him perform well against Tottenham. That's it. I've only seen him play well against Tottenham. That is,
I think whoever filmed that clip of Ziyech doing that pass for Ajax, you know, the clip that everyone's seen on social media, he does the pass, whatever. No. It's a good pass, but it's even better camera angle. Okay, and he owes a lot to that cameraman who shot that. He owes his career to him, I think. But carry on.
So yeah, that's all I've ever really seen. But for 8 million, that's a steal now. That's a steal. But no, I don't think that is a Premier League footballer to me. I don't know. I just don't. No, I wouldn't want to see him in the club. But again, if that's what the manager wants, and if he can get the best out of him, then maybe he's there. But I've only really seen him in the Premier League play well against Spurs. That is it, and I think for Ajax as well against Spurs. So I don't know. I don't think he would be someone that I would be looking to, or that I would personally want in terms of my preference. But if it's somebody that we can utilize, again, it's another body in, and he'll be competing against players that look like Premier League players, you know, when they're playing at their best. So we'll see what happens.
What if Ten Hag wants him?
Yeah, then I have to, you know, accept it for what it is, and I will criticize per 90 minutes, and the community will criticize, but. You know, if he does well, we also have to praise him. So we'll see what happens. I just don't think he's not somebody that I would want, and he's not good enough, I don't think. But for 8 million, you know, you could get somebody there.
Yeah, I mean, I saw his performances for Chelsea last season, and or however long he's been at Chelsea. What's he been? Is it 2 seasons now he's been at Chelsea? So. Haven't been completely blown away. I think he did well at Ajax. He's a different kind of winger, more of those sort of technical wingers. I don't think he has like a huge amount of pace or anything like that. I don't know. I'm like you. I'm a bit like the only reason I think we're sitting here going maybe is because of the price tag, because it's 8 million. If we're going 8 million, that's a steal, especially in today's market. That's a steal. But also, is there a reason he's 8 million? You know, most of the time, you know, if you go into a shop and something's on major discount, there's a reason why it's discounted, right? Because either you know. It's going to be best before date or anything like that. That's how you get poisoned, like me with Marcel. And maybe that's the case with Hakim Ziyech. He could poison us. No, I'm with you. I don't think that that should be an option for us. Look, come the end of the window, we might be panicking, and we might be like, you know what, do it. But I'm with you. I'm looking at that one going, come on. It's the only reason we're even saying, oh, it's because 8 million in today's market for any player is a steal. Finally, Alex Telles is about to complete his loan move to Sevilla. Romano tweeted this morning saying, quote, Alex Telles is undergoing medical tests in Sevilla this morning with Manchester United's authorization. Loan deal until June 2023 has been completed. It's also said, of course, there is no obligation to buy or no buy clause in there, so he will be coming back to United. But the move will see Sevilla cover all of Alex Telles' wages. How do you feel about the Telles loan move? Are you a bit disappointed with the no option to buy? But I guess that's kind of balanced out a little bit by the covering of the wages.
So it's only a loan?
It's only a loan, yes.
Well, that's not great news. I mean, you just have to go to people like Cams and speak about that, you know, that cover Telles, you know, very well in terms of his ability, you know, It's not the best fullback. So, and we've seen him play at centre back, which speaks volumes in terms of his, his ability and his option in terms of. I just don't think he's good enough. And I'd have liked to see him gone. But if the wages are being covered, that's a plus. It can be utilized somewhere else. We need to see outgoings. I was really hoping he was going to say that's a player that's being sold. We need a few of these outgoings just to boost that transfer budget, so we can maybe overpay here and there for a few. Because I think we might have to overpay, especially if we're looking for 6 as well. You're going to need a couple more to go. So, but if the wages are being fully covered, it's positive signs. Option to buy, like you said, should have been in there. It really should have been in there. We'll see.
I'm just shocked Sevilla trust us after that Martial loan. I can't believe it.
Well, yeah, you're right. But Martial, has come back to us and is a different Martial now. It was looking potentially anyway.
Well, I was going to say that might be early to say.
Listen, at the beginning of last season, I was saying I wanted that man gone. Yeah, I was with Flex and I spoke to Flex, straight after the Southampton game. I said that man can never score 20 to 25 in the Prem, and that's what we need as a number 9. And he's not good enough for it. But, I've from what I've seen, the small little sample size under the new Ten Hag system, he could play well. We just need new. Our biggest issue is the back line, as we're seeing here, and we need a couple more in.
We did it, Marcel. We got to 500 likes. Dead on 500 likes. Let's see what we can get up to in the next couple of minutes before we wrap things up.
750.
Oh, imagine that in the next couple. That would be crazy. But yeah, anything's possible, folks. We did it. 500. Zayn Miassi is back with his mum's credit card with the super chat saying, "Are you ready for the masterpiece tomorrow? Jesus hat trick up the Arsenal." There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of confidence with Arsenal fans, with Spurs fans. There's a lot of confidence in North London that I'm seeing. All I will say is, and this comes from experience, Marcel, we went into last season very, very confident. Look how it ended up. I'm not saying everyone's Manchester United, but I would say be careful, because when you go into a season with false optimism or blind optimism, or you can go into a season going, our squad's the best it's been in ages, and you lose a couple of games and suddenly you appear very, very light, because that's what happened to us last season. We were going into last season going, we might not win the league. All we need, though, is a 6 and our squad's completed. Fast forward 12 months, we need 11 new players. So Arsenal fans, whilst they have done well in the transfer market, whilst Jesus, I would still say, I don't know about Jesus. I know he's had a good preseason, but this is a guy that is a striker. And for the last 2 years, Man City have played without a striker whilst he was there. Zinchenko's a decent signing. But Arsenal, Friday night, first game of the season, they've got history.
Yeah,
they've got history. And also, I don't know if you've seen this clip, Marcel. This is unbelievable. Of Mikel Arteta playing You Never Walk Alone during training before the Liverpool game last season. They then lost that game 4-0.
To be honest with you, the Arsenal, I'm not worried about them. It's Tottenham and even West Ham and a bit of Chelsea. Those are the 2 teams that I'm looking at, that in London anyway, that would be, fiercely competitive. But I do like Saliba and Gabriel as a centre-back partnership. That looks very dangerous. So, they are building a bit of something, but at that midfield, there's no men, there's no leaders in that team. There's no captains in that team. I'm not worried.
I don't even know if you could say it with Spurs. A lot of people are talking about, and Josh is saying, be worried. Be worried about yourself, mate.
Yeah.
Our last day. No.
No.
Tosef says, on De Jong, I agree with Marcel, not just our manager. We have several Dutch players and assistants that De Jong would feel comfortable with, unlike at Chelsea. So he's joining you with the optimism there when it comes to Frankie De Jong. But yes, the Premier League season starts tomorrow. I'm excited for it to start up once again. That excitement, I guess, will turn into fear and dread as we head into Sunday, and we just want to get through all of that first game. Josh is saying I'm clipping this. Clip it away. Clip it away, Josh.
They're nobody, Arsenal. They're nobody, Josh.
Okay.
But in terms of the season, why are you worried? Why are you worried? We're going to win the first game.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that out loud?
I'm positive about our prospects. We're at home, Owen. It's going to be packed. The stadium's going to be packed full of Man United believers. 3 points. It's 3 points. It's going to be 3 points. It has to be 3 points. The first game.
Zayn Miassi, once again with mum's credit card, getting an absolute battering this morning, saying he's levels above Rashford and Martial, who have done nothing for 5 years. Saliba is the best young defender in Europe. It's fine, Zayn. It's fine. Again, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be like, oh, Arsenal rubbish. But I'm also not going to be one of these people that says Arsenal are going to be amazing this season like you. Best young player. You were saying about, Saliba saying he was better than Rafael Varane, all this kind of, okay. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I could come over and be like, get out, Zayn. You don't know what you're talking about. But I'll save that after you lose on Friday. Yeah, that's what I'll save that for. Anyway, guys, because actually, Zayn, I know Zayn thinks that they're going to win the league this season. And to that, I would say,
unfortunately, I don't agree with you.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up. We're out of here. Peace.